Seventeen, first and goal. Boyd Cotton ran for 64. Oh, down goes Burrow. Rankin's putting up one of the best performances of his terrific career. Maybe a timeout, third and goal. And Burrow to the air, to the end zone. Boyd, incomplete. He could not reel it in. No wind. 27 all, 1:33 to go. Play clock at 3. Here goes Stroud, downfield and caught. Schultz.
Now you call the timeout.
Taylor Britt with the tackle. Second down, 5. Underneath they go again, getting close, breaking free. Brown breaking free. Brown to the 20, bulldozing down there to take a lead with 5 seconds to go. Off the practice squad for the lead, and it is good! It is good! Amendola from 38 yards! And the final is in! And the Texans have won it with a backup kicker.
This is J. Lou, and welcome to the Big 3 and Beyond. Man, happy Monday. Happy Monday to all the H-Town people out there. Man, what a weekend for Houston, man. I don't even know where to begin. Oh my God. I mean, Astros got a new skipper. I like Joe Espada. Texans win in Cincinnati. That's an upset. And then the Rockets, you see my clutch city right here. The Rockets are the hottest NBA team right now. With 6 wins in a row. They've won 6 games in a row. They just beat the defending champs last night, the Denver Nuggets. So, man, there's so much excitement right now in this city right now. It's unbelievable, man. I mean, normally, like I said and before, I would say, man, after the Astros would win the World Series or it's done deal or whatever, it'd be like, man, it's going to be like, man, the Texans aren't going to be doing anything. The Rockets aren't really any good. At least, since Harden left. But look at us now, H-Town. Look at what we're doing right now. Look at these Texans, man. I mean, for real. We're 5-4 right now. We are 5-4, and we are, if the season ended today, we would be in the playoffs. Playoffs? The Texans will be in the playoffs right now if the season ended today. Yes. Oh my God. And I mean, the future is so bright right now. Right here in H-Town. It's just a whole balanced effort all the way around with the Texans. It's a whole balanced effort. It's 5-4 with the hard-fought win. I thought C.J. Stroud was going to give that away after he threw that ill-advised interception to, he was trying to throw the ball. He should have just ran the ball, but it was like 3:41 left on the clock, and he threw that pick. I was like, oh no. But like time and time again, C.J. Stroud, because nobody's perfect. Everybody's going to make, everybody's going to make a mistake. But the way he bounced back and drove the Texans down the field to win with that field goal, I mean, if we didn't have a quarterback before, if you didn't think we had a quarterback before, you got personalities, sports personalities. We got Shannon Sharp saying that C.J. Stroud, forget about being in the mix for MVP, he's the front runner. The front runner for MVP. Think about that. Stephen A. Smith even got him in the conversation for MVP. Isn't that crazy that rookie quarterback is in the conversation for MVP? The last time any quarterback was even had a point or some points for MVP was Dan Marino back in the early 80s. You know? So anyway, so C.J. Stroud was 23 for 39, threw for 356 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. Devin Singletary had a monster game, 30 carries for 150 yards, 1 touchdown. So I'm going to just point this out that there's some history between Singletary and the Bengals. You know, if you remember, Singletary used to play for the Buffalo Bills. There's some history between Singletary and the Bengals. So it's a combination of, you know, karma comes back. You know, he was going to have a monster game. And between that and just the run blocking finally, besides the pass blocking, we had run blocking and Singletary was going to get his. But, you know what I'm saying, it's just from the history with the Buffalo Bills, when he was with the Buffalo Bills. Noah Brown, another monster game. 7 receptions for 172 yards. He had like over 150 yards last week against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I mean, where did this guy come from? He got cut from the Dallas Cowboys last year. He got cut from the Dallas Cowboys, and look at what Noah Brown is doing. You know why I would say C.J. Stroud is definitely in the running for MVP? Because he's bringing up the level of play of all now offensive receiver, the running back. He's bringing up the level of play with Noah Brown, with freaking Singletary. I mean, this is a beautiful, beautiful thing. Now, let's not just talk about the offense. Let's talk about the defense, too. You had Sheldon Rankins, man. Sheldon Rankins, shout out to Sheldon Rankins. He had a monster game. He had 3 sacks in the game. Jonathan Grenard got another sack also. And then we also had the interceptions, you know, from DeAndre Houston Carson and Shaquille Griffin in the end zone. I mean, this is an exciting time for us H-Town, you know what I'm saying? Unfortunately, I couldn't even watch the game. I watched the very beginning of the game. I was at Texas Roadhouse in Pearland. By the way, it was my birthday weekend, so we was having a big family brunch at Texas Roadhouse out in Pearland. So I was watching the beginning of it, but I didn't really be able to see what was going on, obviously, until the second half, whenever we were up, you know. But yeah, obviously I would have been watching the game, but you know, I had a lot of catching up with family and friends this weekend. It was just made the weekend that much more special. That's a birthday gift right there. That they went into Cincinnati. I think they were like 5.5 point, 6 point favorites over the Texans. So almost a touchdown favorite over the Texans. And we go in there and we end up beating the Bengals. The Bengals were one of the hottest teams in the league. They just beat Buffalo Bills last week. So man, that's amazing. So and then we got these next few games. We're gonna be at home. We got the next 3 games at home. We got the Arizona Cardinals at home, next Sunday. I know Kyler Murray is back in the mix, but I'm still feeling pretty confident that we can take the Cardinals. The next week is going to be the one after, not this coming next Sunday, but the Sunday after against the Jacksonville Jaguars. That is going to be huge because more likely if the Houston Texans beat the Jaguars in a few weeks, you're talking about the Texans being AFC South Division champs. More than likely. unless they falter down the stretch. But let's be honest, we got one of the weakest strength of, as far as teams down the stretch. We remember we were last place the last several years, so we're playing a last place schedule. So we beat Arizona, so that's gonna make us 6-4, and then we beat the Jaguars at 7-4. And remember, we already beat the Jaguars earlier this season. We already beat the Pittsburgh Steelers. So we own that tiebreaker. We already beat the Bengals already. So we are in really good shape right now. And then after that, we got the Denver Broncos. And then obviously we're going to play the Titans a couple times, but the Titans are a freaking mess. So, yeah, man, I'm very, very excited. It's been probably at least 4 or 5 years since we actually really had a real team. But I will say, the future, there's nothing like the future that we got right now. Starting with the head coach, DeMeco Ryans, Bobby Sloan, offensive coordinator, C.J. Stroud at quarterback. Our offensive line is really starting to get it together. Now, if we get this rushing attack going, and once we get Dameon Pierce back, I will say between the 20s, not around the goal line situation, give it to Singletary, let him do his thing. Because that's what he's going to do. He's going to try to make the defensive players mix. He's going to make that cut, and he's going to burst up field, But once we get toward the goal line, then that's when we want to give it to Dameon Pierce. Because Dameon Pierce, he's a different type of running back. So, man, I'm so excited for the Houston Texans. It's just, now it makes me more interested in watching the whole NFL as a whole, of watching all this, not just the Texans, not just the AFC South, but the whole league all around, Just makes it more fun that we have not an average team. I say we have a pretty good team. I'm not gonna say we're elite, but this is crazy. Who thought in the beginning of the season that the Houston Texans were going to go on the road and win in Cincinnati? Maybe we should have known something was up early in the season when we went up to Jacksonville and beat them, and then also beat Pittsburgh in back-to-back victories. I don't know, but I'm just really, really very happy, very confident. I love our coach. I definitely want to start maybe going to some games. I haven't been to a Texas game in a while. I do have some friends that do tailgate. But anyways, the sky's the limit for the Houston Texans right now. Before the season started, I was like, nah, they're not gonna do no playoffs. They'll be a better team. And then early in the season, I'm like, you know what? They might be in the playoff mix, and stuff like that. But I think now we gotta switch our mentality now with our Houston Texans now. You can't even think of us possibly making the playoffs. You gotta maybe say that we're gonna win the division, and who knows what's gonna happen. But anyways, go Houston Texans. Kirby's freaking rocking right now. And it's just gonna be so much fun from here on out every Sunday. And let me say one more thing before I switch gears to the Rockets. We definitely need a primetime game. They're gonna flex one of those games Sunday night. And here's the one I'm gonna go ahead and say right now. They need to go ahead and flex the game between whenever the Cleveland Browns come here to NRG. So Deshaun Watson coming here playing against the Houston Texans in December. They got to flex that one. Especially going to be a lot of playoff implications and stuff like that. So if the NFL is smart, they definitely need to make that a prime time game for sure. And you already know next year it's going to be already set. We're not going to have all these 12 o'clock games. So let's go ahead and talk the Houston Rockets. Clutch City. If y'all remember back in the 90s when we went back to back, that Clutch City. Shout out to my homegirl Desiree. She used to be the princess. They make these shirts, not just for the Rockets, but different teams. And, man, I always getting love for this Clutch City shirt. But anyways, the Rockets started 0-3 this year. We were like, yeah, they might be a better team this year, especially with the new head coach, Ime Udoka, and, the free agent acquisitions that they got with Fred VanVleet and Dylan Brooks, Jock Landale, and obviously Jalen Green's a year older, Alperen Sengun's a year older, so they're going to get better. But these Rockets have won 6 games in a row. 6 games in a row. Can you believe that? I mean, that's insane. 6 games in a row. So now we are 6-3 after last night, after beating the Denver Nuggets. So now we're only a game and a half back of the Dallas Mavericks in the division. Fred VanVleet had 26 points. He led the way with 26 points. Alperen Sengun had 23 points. Jeff Green came off the bench with 15 points. He actually played with the Nuggets last year and helped them win the championship. So we got a really good quality veteran who plays defense and can score some points. He had a big game off the bench. And then Dylan Brooks. Let me just say about Dylan Brooks, I was very skeptical on this, them bringing him here and what they were paying Dylan Brooks. But Dylan Brooks brings a lot of physicality. He's the heart of defense, let me be honest. Dylan Brooks is balling right now. He's balling right now. And he's also bringing in some offense. He's bringing in some offense too. He's bringing in some points, Jabari, I like Jabari. Tari Eason, I love Tari Eason, man. Tari Eason is always getting rebounds, And not only does he get, like I said in the last video, not only does he get rebounds, but he also finishes around the rim, I really love these group of guys. I definitely need to go to Toyota Center, and I definitely gonna be rocking them Rockets red. It's gonna be too early to tell with the Rockets. It's got a long season. There's 82 games in the season, but right now they're fourth. They're fourth in the whole Western Conference right now. Believe it or not, they're fourth in the Western Conference. Obviously, it's a long season ahead of us, but it's definitely so exciting. It's not just like one team doing their thing, not 2 teams doing their thing. Texans, Rockets, the Astros got a skipper, with Joe Espada. I definitely agree with that move. I didn't want to get Brad Osmus. I definitely like Joe Espada. Obviously, he doesn't have a lot of experience as a skipper, but he's already familiar with the players like him, and I know he's very grateful for having this job. I mean, it's like a dream job, being a skipper of a MLB franchise. He's got to be through the moon. And you already know that the Astros are already going to have, they're already going to be back in the mix again next year. I think they're going to get some help with the bullpen pitching, outfield. Obviously, Yainer Diaz is going to be the main catcher behind the plate, which I think a lot of Astros fans could probably agree with me that they should have played more of him. Once we saw that he definitely could hit the ball and all that. And play decent, definitely play a decent catching, So, and then the Dynamo. I'm going all over the place. The Dynamo are in the mix. They're in the playoffs. I'm not going to spend too much time on there because I don't really follow soccer. And then the last thing I will say is that Jimbo Fisher is gone from A&M. They paid him buyout with $74 million. They paid him $74 million to say, hasta la vista, baby. So, I had a feeling it was coming. I didn't realize it was going to come this soon. So, I'm a big A&M fan. And let's be honest. A&M has been mediocre. They have not done anything in college football. They'll play some cupcakes, in the beginning of the season. They'll win a couple games. But once they start playing, the teams in the SEC West, Auburn, Alabama, them cats, Ole Miss, it's going to be a struggle. And they're probably going to lose more games than they'll win. So, just a big question is who they're going to pick up now since they basically told Jimbo Fisher to, kick rocks, So, anyways, I am very excited. I'm ready for another Texan game coming up. I'm ready for another Rockets game. Oh, speaking of, I went way too. I forgot to say one thing about the Rockets. So, the Rockets are going to be off for a few days. They're going to open up on the road against who? The Clippers, LA Clippers. And you know who's on the Clippers? Yeah, the Beard, James Harden. And ever since the Beard has joined the Clippers, they have not won a game. So, I'm hoping they fall completely on their you-know-what, because I am not a fan of James Harden. So, anyways, hey, I had a great weekend. Everybody winning from H-Town, all the teams representing, doing their thing. Man, I'm just like, I don't want to say I'm shocked, but I'm just very, very proud of all my H-Town teams, man. And we're just going to keep rolling, man. I mean, the Texans just halfway through. The Rockets are just getting started. So, man, hold up, man. But, I'm Jay Lou. And thank you for tuning in to the Big Three and Beyond. And I'm out. H-Town. Little kisses,